Good day, everyone. My name is Kazim Kodri, and welcome to my rant. Yeah, welcome back. I want to say it's been a minute because at the time of recording this episode, none of the whole season is out yet. So yeah, it's been a minute. Okay, so basically, I want to talk about managing your finances, and this is still tied to our core focus for this season, which is starting your career in your 20s. Yeah. So I would like to start by saying, please do your research with anything I'm going to say on this episode, because I know when it comes to finances, people tend to, should I say, try to just take people's word for it sometimes and don't do their own research. So yeah, please do your research, because some of the things I'm going to say here, I did my own research, and that's how I came to this conclusion in the first place. So I'll be sharing roughly 10 tips. I don't want to say 10 exact tips because some of them are like intertwined, so I just have to separate them for a bit. But the first tip of managing your finances is save. I don't know how much I need to emphasize this, but I think in this day and time, it's hard to actually save, because we are currently in the economy is currently in an inflation, and some countries are going into recession, and that's really a big thing, and which means that we don't have that much spending power. I think at the time of recording this episode, the dollar to a naira is about 7.28, which is wild, if you would ask me, because a lot of us do transactions that involve dollars, and even if we don't do transactions that involve dollars, if you ask yourself, how does that affect me? Think about it this way: practically almost everything we spend buying in this country is imported, which means that we are buying against the dollar, and if the dollar is getting too high than the naira, then we are actually running at a loss. So yeah, basically that's like the thought process, which makes saving very hard, because the other day I went to the market, and I think I went with 20k, right? I bought some things, right? And when I go back home, I looked at those things. I was like, this time, not even this time, let's say around January last year, if I had gone to the market with 15,000 now or 20,000 still, I would have bought probably 2 times what I got from the market. And that just explains how things are getting more expensive. But still, it goes back to the ice part of you actually saving. So I think back in 2020, I found this secret, which was an open secret. Any of my church members would understand why that statement is kind of funny. But yeah, the secret is basically like compound interest. And I think that's one of the things where most people don't understand. The fact that you are saving 100 naira every day doesn't necessarily mean that you get 100 naira in last day. So it's basically, if you save 100 naira for 365 days, you definitely get, that's going to be, my math, that's going to be like roughly 36,000 naira, right? If I'm correct, I think so. Yeah, roughly 36,000 naira. Part of my mathematics, not my best qualities. And I do this a lot, really. I think I'll still mention the same app in the next tip I'm going to give. But I used an app called CarryWise. Although I do this with PiggyVest, but I prefer using CarryWise when it comes to my periodic savings, which involves saving 100 naira, saving 500, saving 1,000. So I have these saving patterns. I noticed that CarryWise released an update where you can't save 100 naira anymore, which is very painful to me, because I prefer saving my 100 naira because that's what I can afford. But I had to change my pattern. But let me explain. So I have 3 major savings, but I've changed them. But I would explain the changes in them. So I have 3 major savings that I do periodically. So periodically means like probably daily, weekly, and monthly. So I have the savings of daily, which is 100 naira. So I save 100 naira every day. So it's automatically just debit 100 naira from my account every day. I have the one of weekly, or it's actually in every fortnight. So I save 1,000 naira Then I have the one that it's per month. So sometimes per month I can probably save like 10,000 or 5,000. Yeah. But I learned how to. So I know someone might be listening to this episode and saying, because you have money. Okay, so let me break it down this way. I started this when I was probably earning like roughly 15,000 naira a month. So I wasn't doing the other two consistently, but I was doing the 100 naira per day. And there's something our minds do, like there's the way our mind works, right? It's like if you're saving 100 naira per day, you don't count it as anything. So think about it this way: the 100 naira you just probably used to drink Coke. Well, I think Coke is 150 now, but the 100 naira you used to drink Coke, if you get my point, is the same 100 naira you're just saving. And if you leave that 100 naira for till the end of the year, you can probably get yourself something. So now these savings that I do, so I have different savings for different purposes, which is something I think I need to emphasize now. So I have some savings that I just save to a goal I don't know about, which is the savings that it's probably called emergency fund for some people, but the Yoruba way want to say coffee will not emergency. But yeah, emergencies happen really. So I have savings that I save just for rainy days that I am dead as broke and I just need to get cash and do something. So I have those savings. I have savings that I just save towards getting myself something. I don't know what that is. I just towards the end of probably when the period, probably it's 6 months, 3 months, 1 year period, I get that whole cash and I buy something for myself. Because we are used to working and not getting ourselves something. Probably we'll get back to that later. But yeah, I have savings for various purposes. I have savings for people's birthdays. I have savings for... Because I know these things might not sound... it might sound like I have a lot of money. I don't. But it still falls back to the 100 naira every day. And these savings app, they also give you interest on whatever you save. So at least even if I'm not getting a million, it's better than putting it in my bank account, which is easy for me to withdraw and which is not giving me any interest or any interest that is reasonable to the human eyes. So that's the first point. Save. The second one is invest. In this time, in this age and time, I think if you don't have investment, please pause this episode here. Download either Piggyvest or Cowrywise. Do your research, don't forget. Yeah. And start a saving plan or an investment plan, preferably Cowrywise because they have mutual funds. Piggyvest have one. I think it closes at the beginning of October, so by the time I listen to this, it's probably closed. So if they have another one popping up, that would be very fine. But Cowrywise has a lot of mutual funds, dollar. Piggyvest also has, you can invest in dollars also. So if you invest, it's basically hedging against inflation. One of the best ways to hedge against inflation. For the average person on the street, because I don't have $1 million to hedge against inflation. I have $1 million, but I have probably 10,000 naira, and I put 10,000 naira in dollars. I know dollars is 700, so but if I did it in 600 naira, but they said the best time of doing something yesterday, blah blah blah. I don't know how the quote goes, but the best time to do it is now. So you can still buy it now, and it might look too expensive, but if you buy probably $5 or $10 and you keep it for the next 1 year, trust me, you can make $12. By the time you're getting your profit, you're getting $12, which is $2 above what you saved. And if that you do that against the inflation quotient, you're probably close to hedging against inflation, but it's not. But it's still better than just keeping your money or spending your money every time. So having long-term and short-term investments is also very important. So things like mutual funds, I mentioned mutual funds earlier. Cowrywise provides a lot of mutual fund options where you can save in bits. Sorry, you can save in mutual fund. You buy mutual fund stocks, and at the end of a certain period, you can reap your benefits. Or you can even reinvest your profit also, which is what I do most of the time. And you have long-term investment. I do a lot. I think I just did one recently with Piggyvest, where I'm going to get a profit next year December, not even this year December, next year December. So that's probably a long period of time. But is it next year December? But this December. But actually, it's a very long period of time. I have other savings like that or other investments like that really helps. And also, you should check out probably Forex, real estate, cryptocurrency. But please don't forget, do your research properly, especially when it comes to cryptocurrency, because there are a lot of scams out there. Even Forex too, and even real estate. Everything I mentioned, there are scams out there. Just be careful. But I would recommend Cowrywise and Piggyvest because I've used them for a long period of time. I think I'm using Piggyvest and Cowrywise since 2016 or 17 thereabouts. Yeah, 2017. Please note also, nobody paid me to do this. No brand is sponsoring this episode, so let's not get things mixed up. The third tip is to borrow people money. Now, anyone listening to this probably will roll their eyes like, what do you mean by borrow people money? So there's something I noticed, and I didn't do this intentionally, but at some point I actually made it a bit more intentional. Was I was always borrowing people money whenever they needed cash. Now, I'm not saying you should just borrow anybody, so maybe I should call it borrow people money with sense. I was not just borrowing anybody money, because there are some people that probably will never give you that money back. Only except you are willing to do that. My uncle used to say, don't borrow anybody any money you cannot give them. So I think that's an arrow you should use whenever you're borrowing people money. But yeah, I borrow people money and I technically forget about it. Really, I do forget about money that I borrow people. Not like, please don't DM me to borrow any money. I will not borrow you. I don't have any money to borrow you. But like, I borrow people money and I actually forget about it. That's when I have most of the time. And there's always something I notice is that one day they just wake up one morning and I'm like, Kazim, yeah, I'm owing you this money. Please send your account number. And almost 80% of the time that happens, I'm always broke. You understand? Think about it. If I didn't give them that money at that point, I'll probably have spent it. I'll probably saved it also. But the thing is, we should always have a certain percentage of money we are saving and percentage we are spending. So always save before you spend. I think I should have mentioned that when I talked about the saving part. But this was like a cash I planned on spending, if you get my point. So, and I didn't spend it in that moment because I borrowed someone. So, and the person giving me back the money probably 2 months or 3 months down the line saves my ass in that moment. So that's the other tip: borrow people money. The fourth one, get a side gig. Now, get a side gig in the sense that we're in the gig economy, which means everybody's jumping on one gig to the other. And sometimes people ask, how do I get a side gig? Get a skill that would get you a side gig. So there are a lot of things to learn this day and time. You can learn copywriting, like a list of things really. I mean, actually even working on a website really. But if any developer is listening to this or anyone in tech, I created a GitHub repository to list out skills you can learn and links to courses and resources that you can learn these things for. Majorly in tech for now, so we'll probably expand some other time. But yeah, there are all these free tutorials online. If you check YouTube, trust me, there are a billion videos on YouTube that you can watch that will teach you 100 things. So do your research, look for skills that you can actually make cash from by the side. And because I notice most people listening to this, you probably have a main job or you are a student, so you should actually have a side gig. It helps out a lot. So it helps you have this spare cash that you can use to do other things and you can save and invest with. Because half of the time, whenever you get any cash, even if it's your stipend, it goes to feeding yourself for that month most of the time. So yeah, please get a side gig. Now the fifth one doesn't sound like a tip, but avoid Ponzi schemes. So in Nigeria, trust me, we are probably one of the most greedy set of human beings that live on earth, because the rate by which Ponzi schemes get to us, it's amazing. I think before now there was Rackstelly, there was MMM or something. Interesting. I even had an interesting story that Rackstelly, but I guess that's for another day. But I didn't do it with my money. Someone was like making cash for me. I was like, do it with your money. I will pay you whenever I get my interest on. That's when the stock closed down. Yeah, that's when it closed down. But just avoid Ponzi schemes. That's why I mentioned I'm doing your research in the beginning of this episode. So just try to do enough research before you put your money into anything. Investment, borrowing people money, even if it's a job. Like, please just do your research, because there are a lot of Ponzi schemes out there, and that are probably designed a lot for people that are greedy. You might not even be greedy, but it's probably designed for you also. So for here, at this point, I want us to just take a break. When we come back, we'll go over the 5 or 6 other tips I have. Okay, welcome back. We went over 5 tips, which is save, invest, borrow people money, get a sidekick, and avoid Ponzi schemes. So those are like 5 ones I listed out. So the 6th one, which is for Christians for Christians generally, listen to this episode. Pay your tithe and offerings. I can't begin to emphasize how important this is, because it might not sound like a lot, but trust me, God blesses you when you pay your tithe. And also, you are actually you are doing your, I don't know how to put this, but you're doing your own part in spreading the gospel, because whenever you pay your tithe or offering to a church, it helps to do evangelism and other things that I do in the church. So yeah, just think about it that way. You're doing your part. But yeah, as a Christian, pay your tithe and offerings. Number 7, have a spreadsheet to track your spendings. Or use an app. There are apps out there that do these things, right? But basically, what this tool is supposed to help you do is to see how much you're spending on different things. I know banks send bank statements to people after a certain period of time, I guess. But I don't believe this is sufficient enough to give you an overview of what you're spending. So basically, a bank just tells you when you transfer money, when you withdraw money. So, but whenever you want to send, if you want to send someone money, add it on your spreadsheet. If you want to buy something, add it on your spreadsheet. If you want to withdraw, your purpose of withdrawing, add it there. And at the end of the month, just go over it. I recently started doing this, and I looked at it. It's not as if I spent it like crazy, trust me. But I looked at it and I was like, oh, Kazem, you need to cut on this. You need to cut on this. So, if you would want me to send you a template you can use, you can DM me. I have one. It's a very simple template on Google Docs. Spreadsheet. I can send that to you. I'm actually working on an app with someone to do this also, but it's probably never even going to go into production. But yeah, well, it's probably something in the line. So if you're also interested in that, just tell me out. Tell you our progress so far. Still on APIs though. Avoid unnecessary billing. That's the number 8 tip, I would say. Unnecessary billing, because if it's not 100% important, please cut it. And when I say unnecessary billing, I don't mean only people asking you for cash. Even you yourself spending unnecessarily. So I know a lot of people that try to I don't know if it's impressed. I can't even imagine whatever is going on in their brains. But I just know that stuff they just bought was unnecessary. Simple as that. So yeah, and I know some friends that do this, and I try to tell them, but they don't listen. But if you are listening to this episode, please avoid unnecessary billing. So I believe if you have this spreadsheet, it helps you to know what is unnecessary. Like, your mind will tell you, your conscience will be the one to judge. Like, Baba, this is unnecessary. So you don't have to spend on this going forward. The number 9 tip is have an accountability partner when you're trying to make big purchases. I recently started doing this also, and it has been interesting because I get to question before I make all those big purchases, and trust me, you'll need it, because it's when you are trying to voice these things out sometimes that it makes dude, is that necessary? You understand? And sometimes even this people will have to actually tell you that you actually need to buy this thing sometimes, because other times too, there are some of us that we don't spend because we think that it's unnecessary, but it's actually necessary to do it. So yeah. The 10th one, which is something I really hate, debt. I don't want to use the word hate, but I don't know. I just try to avoid it as much as possible, right? That's the thing. Because there's a way my head goes sometimes. Whenever I owe people money, I don't think I've owed an institution money. So, but when I owe people money, I can probably avoid you. I'll probably avoid it till the day I pay you back. Yeah, well, I know I mentioned borrow people money, and I'm trying to say you should avoid debt. But yeah, I think both of them work hand in hand, really. So just avoid debt in any way you can. If it's something you can actually just try to hold yourself for a while, just please do. And ask people to give you money, not borrow money if you can also. So I think that's another important thing. So whenever you're asking people for money, ensure it's clear that you are asking them to give you the money and not borrow you cash. And the 11th one, which is just, it's not really an 11th one, it's just a note. Please, don't be greedy. Understand how compound interest works, and try to do your research. That's another important thing. So try to figure out ways to get interest on your money, because even if you're saving for house rent, if you're saving for anything really, just find ways to get interest on your money, because trust me, these institutions that you keep your money with make money from it. So I think Piggyverse released something last year that they paid out 250 billion naira or so thereabout. I was like, jeez, money is good. And it makes more sense how the fact that they can sponsor people in Nigeria, and I think they released an app now called Pocket or so. But I think that app is even from the Abeg app or something like that. But yeah, but just do your research, try to understand how compound interest works. Try to get interest on your money constantly. So don't just put money in places where you don't get interest. If you're borrowing people money, please, in fact, add interest. Because trust me, you're doing them a favor, right? And you can probably get something in return. So, but yeah, that's just basically the tips I have for you to manage your finances and things that I actually do. And please just do your research. Don't forget. My name is Kazim Quadri, and if you're listening to this podcast, please hold on. Please go on Instagram, go on Twitter, just search for The Rant with Kazim or Rant Out My Head, and please follow us on those social media platforms. You can send me a mail at therantwithkazim@gmail.com or DM me on my own social media platforms, which is always Kazim Quadri01, except for Facebook. And wherever you're listening to this podcast, please subscribe, like, share, and see you in the next episode. Bye. Peace out.